What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Dungeon coming at you with another Fell Seal Arbiter's Mark tips and tactics video. And in this one, I'm going to be giving you guys an in-depth look at guild missions. So, if you like to gain money, gear, recruits, ability points, and experience without playing at all, you've come to the right place. Let's go ahead and get right on into it. So, as I said with the intro, we're going to be talking about missions. And the first disclaimer that I've got to put out there is that you do need the DLC mission and monsters in order to actually engage in guild missions. And I will say, look y'all, the DLC is not very much. I'm not getting like paid to say this or anything like that, but I have to say that being that I played the game without it and I played the game with it, I have to say hands down I would 100,000% recommend you getting the Mission and Monsters DLC. It just makes it so much more fun, so much easier, because you know, if you've played a tactical RPG or strategy RPG, part of the thing that's alluring is the grind, is, you know, experiencing those tactical battles and stuff like that. However, after playing enough of those battles, you start to get a little bit, you know, it gets a little bit complacent, maybe even a little bit bored and stuff like that, a little bit monotonous. So what this does, these missions, is it kind of takes the edge of monotony out, and it actually allows you to feel more fulfilled with the upgrades of your actual characters on your team, because it is going to minimize the amount of grind that you feel is necessary in the game, and it basically allows you to just go ahead and go through the game without really having to grind almost at all. If you're doing it, if you're doing it like, you know, decent like or whatever, because you know, most of us have lives and stuff, and we can't devote our entire, you know, every waking moment to playing the game. So, you know, if that's you, if you've got other things going on, then honestly this is going to be really, really good, because the way that it works is that you will actually put in a mission for your characters, and then there is a timer on the screen that will count down for how many actual real-time minutes that it takes. So you can select missions, put them in, you have your characters that are on these missions and stuff, and then real-time minutes, so you can save the game, shut off your console or computer or whatever you're playing on, and then come back in how many ever minutes. It's 30 minutes. Usually a lot of them are about 30 minutes. So you come back in 30 minutes and your missions are complete and you have your rewards, and those rewards vary greatly. So speaking of which, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Alright, so of course we're talking about rewards next. And when you send your party members on these missions, they have a chance to get rewards, and those things can potentially consist of one or more of the following: ability points, experience points, influence points, gold pieces, components, gear. You can unlock classes, unlock playable characters, unlock playable monsters. So there is a ton of stuff that you can get from these missions, and it is most definitely worth your time to check out. The only caveat that I would say about all this is that your campaign mission characters, like, so I'm talking about Kyrie, Raynor, Anodyne, Yates, all these other dudes and chicks. There are total, I think, of 7 story characters that you can potentially get or unlock. One of them is kind of like a secret guy, but those ones you cannot actually send them on missions. So you can see here in the example in the background, you don't see any of those characters because you can't choose them to go on missions. Now that is kind of bad, but at the same time, those characters will vicariously get 15% of all ability points that you obtain through these missions. So, you know, if you send out, there's a potential that you can actually do 4 missions at once. So if you do 4 missions at once, and they're all getting ability points, then, you know, do the math. 15 times 4, and they're getting a substantial amount of ability points just like everyone else is. So the rewards for this, and some of those rewards, some of that gears and stuff like that, they're unique items, like unique weapons and armor and stuff like that. So yeah, very, very, very cool for you guys to check out. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So next thing I want to talk about is how to select missions and how to unlock missions and stuff like that. Well, basically, as you play through the game, you'll go through different campaign battles, and that'll unlock different guild missions. You actually complete guild missions, and that will unlock other guild missions. So there's a bunch of different stuff that you'll do in order to progress through these guild missions, but most of it is just going through the regular game, and that's going to unlock different missions and stuff like that. So as you unlock new locations on the map and stuff like that, on the world map, that will unlock different missions. And there are several different regions for missions, and each region has a separate type of upgrade system that we'll be talking about later. And you have to upgrade each region separately in order to gain any kind of bonuses for these missions that you might be looking for. Now, the one thing I will say is that there are a minimum and a maximum number of units that you can allocate for the missions. So do keep that in mind. It says on the middle of the mission, it says units at the middle and the bottom of how many you need, and whether or not the missions are replayable, because some of the missions you can play over and over and over and over and over. There's no limit, and some of them you only get one shot. So if you fail, not good at all. Because you can actually fail in the missions. The last thing I want to talk about is that these things are time sensitive. So I know I mentioned it before. What that means is that you select it, it'll go real time, 30 minutes in real life, even if the game is off, and then come back after 30 minutes and your mission is done, and you get all the rewards therein. So that pretty much wraps that up. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about is mission success. And if you take a look at the screen, you'll see base success. And what that means is, what is the missions, without anything added to it, what is the success rate for the mission? Some of these missions are a little bit tough to do, but there are things that you can manipulate in order to increase that success rate. The first thing you can do is change your class, because certain missions have classes that actually will give you different bonuses. And you see in the example here, I am trying to select a class that's appropriate for the mission. And you'll see there's certain bonuses that you get highlighted in green when you look at the description of the mission. So right here it says offensive magic. That one says human or whatever. So basically what that means is that if you have the requirements, then that'll give you an untyped additional bonus. And it's different for every mission and stuff like that, but I'll leave a link in the description so that you can go to a website that gives you the whole list of the different keywords and what type of classes that you can use for that. Now you see right here, I am actually in the middle of this. You can back all the way out and switch your character class, but you can also do it right here. You can actually press triangle, and that'll allow you to switch your character class in the mission guild area, so that you can actually be able to get that bonus. The other things you can do to get bonuses is that you'll actually get, for every character you add on addition to the leader, you'll get a 5% per character success bonus. The other things you can do is to have certain upgrades, and we'll be talking about upgrades, but the upgrades are per region. So the different regions you have to upgrade each region separately for those type of bonuses. The last thing I do want to mention is that you can get something called resounding successes, and what that'll do is, if you have a success rate that is above 100%, then you have a chance to get a resounding success, and that will increase all of your rewards by 50%. So that's super awesome, super duper awesome. if you can get that. So try to do your best to get that success rate up so you can increase the chance you can not only succeed in the mission but also have those resounding successes. Alright, we'll talk about upgrades in the next one. Alright, so the last tip that I have for you is about the upgrades. And like I said before, those upgrades are specific to each region. There are several different regions, and each one has a region map. So you see that in the background, the region map. Most of them only have about 9 squares, so you can fit 9 upgrades, and each upgrade on the map takes the shape or form of a building of some sort that's similar to whatever it says that it is. And those give you different rewards. As you see, I'm scrolling down the list. And about half of those rewards are specific to missions, and the other half are specific to patrolling. So, you know, if you're doing battles, patrol battles in a region, and you have those specific upgrades, then you'll get the bonuses. And it has nothing to do with missions at all. Whereas if you're doing missions in the area, then it has those mission bonuses that apply to different missions, okay? And some of these rewards will, upgrades will improve rewards. They can improve the success rate. They can increase the amount of units that you can bring on missions. They can increase the amount of missions that you can actually have. They can increase, like I said before, those patrol bonuses, and those patrol bonuses are like really ranging. And some of these bonuses actually have like synergistic bonuses compared to where other upgrades are on that little mini map. So if you have certain things adjacent to it, not diagonal but adjacent to it, like right next to, then you can get those extra bonuses, and it says what they are when you go to the upgrade itself. And there's a bit of strategy involved in how you place these upgrades so that you can get the maximum amount of bonus that you're looking for. Alright, so that is something to keep in mind, because once you have the upgrades on there, you've already spent the influence points to do so. So make sure you're very careful. The other tip that I would give you is to make sure that you are considering, you know, is there a particular region that you want to have patrol upgrades, and other regions that you might want to have mission upgrades? And also one more thing to keep in mind is that not all of them have 9 squares on the little mini map. Some of them have more. So all these things, you know, keep in mind, and that's pretty much everything for the upgrades. Alright you guys, that concludes this episode of Fail Seal Arbiter's Mark Tips and Tactics video, where I gave you an in-depth look at guild missions. If you had fun, if you learned something, if you enjoyed watching this, hit that like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon so you don't miss another video, and as always, thanks, stay cool, and bye everyone.